watching Let's Chat.
Although a few months ago it seemed like we might not even have a Super Bowl, we are only a few days away from the big game now. Super Bowl 55 between the Bucks and the Chiefs. Joining us with a sneak peek of the game, if you will, our friend and resident football authority, the voice of the Tennessee Titans, Mr. Mike Keith. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Chip.
First of all, a heartbreaker that the Titans aren't in this year's Super Bowl. I thought we were so close, and we were. How do you sum up the season the Titans just had, and what are we going to look forward to next year from Nashville?
Chip, I think as you look back at the 2020 season and take emotion out of it, you say that this staff, this team, the personnel people, everybody in the front office did a great job getting this club to 11-5 and winning the AFC South. I think to me, what jumps out is we dealt with a major COVID outbreak in our team. We dealt with a lot of injuries. We ended up using more players this year than any other playoff team. 74 total players appeared in at least one game for the Titans.
Wow.
So I think they did a pretty doggone good job to get where they got. As we got to the playoffs, Chip, I think we were maybe a little bit out of gas, a little bit too thin, certainly not playing our best football. And when you look at this Super Bowl, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were at one point 7-5, and now they've won 7 in a row. They are playing very much like we were a year ago when we made the AFC Championship game. You have to be at your best and playing your best at the end of the season. Unfortunately, we were not. But overall, I think 2020 was a pretty good year for the Tennessee Titans.
Chiefs 14-2, Bucks 11-5. Arguably two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever take the field coming up here at Super Bowl 55. You got Brady, who, say what you want, he may be the oldest player and has been for a long time, or at least one of them, but the guy has still got it. The question is, Mike Keith, does he have enough to go against Patrick Mahomes?
He does, because he has weapons around him. They're playing very well offensively. They have good receivers. They have quality tight ends. They have a backfield with versatility. Tom Brady knew in going to Tampa at 43, he's not what he was at 33 or even at 38. He got that. He needed more people around him than he had in New England. And he has more people around him, which allows him to take this step forward and which will give him a chance to win on Sunday.
I was reading the other day, and when you think about it, it's true that Tom Brady was playing his first Super Bowl the year Patrick Mahomes turned six. Can you imagine what happens if Mahomes stays healthy and continues to play and is still playing when he is 43? Because he's, 25 now?
He's spectacular, and he is a spectacular talent who is also a professional. And that is the part of Patrick Mahomes that is the difference in him and a lot of great young players in any league. Sometimes the fame, the job, everything that goes with it will overwhelm them, and they will peak very early. Patrick Mahomes' dad pitched in the big leagues for years. So he has been around professional athletes his entire life. He had the attitude of a pro when he came to the league. And that part of it, I think, is what gives him a chance to harness his greatness and be great for a long time. He's a special young man. He's not just a special player, he's a special person.
All right, we have a couple of minutes left. I want to get the Mike Keith keys to the game. What do you think the keys are to this game, the biggest one of the year, Super Bowl 55? What are the keys for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to protect Tom Brady, and they have to get some semblance of a run game going as well. If they can run the ball a little bit with their controlled passing game, they'll be in a position where they can keep Patrick Mahomes off the field and literally and figuratively keep Kansas City playing defense. That's the number one key for them, in my opinion, is they've got to be able to stay on the field offensively and score touchdowns. Field goals probably don't do them a lot of good in this game When they get into the red zone, they've got to get in the end zone. I think if you are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're saying to yourself, we need 30 or more points to win this game.
What are the keys for the Kansas City Chiefs?
The flip side is to pressure Tom Brady like crazy. He will make mistakes. We saw it in the NFC Championship game. He threw 3 interceptions. That game at Green Bay should not have been that close. Brady, again, not the same player he was years ago. A maestro, yes, but not as physically dominant as he once was. The other part of it, too, is make plays for Patrick Mahomes. When Kansas City won at Tampa the end of November, Tyreek Hill had nearly 300 yards receiving. He was dominant. If Patrick Mahomes gets a performance from Travis Kelce or from Tyreek Hill or anybody else on that offense, I don't see any way Kansas City loses this game.
All right, very quickly, do you have a prediction on the game?
I picked Tampa.
You think Tampa?
I like the hot team. I like Tom Brady. I also think the part of Kansas City that scares me if I'm a Chiefs fan is they haven't had a bad day all year. I know they lost 2 games. One of them didn't count because they didn't play their starters. But they haven't just had a bad day. Sometimes in these matchups, a bad day will pop up. And I just wonder if it doesn't happen on Sunday, I'm going to go out on the ledge, pick the upset, and pick the old man. Not Bruce Arians because he's 68. I'm not calling it. I'm calling 43 old. Now at my age, I don't think 68's old anymore.
I hear you, brother. Mike Keith, always a pleasure. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you in front of the camera with us next year and behind the microphones as the voice of the Tennessee Titans. Thank you so much. It is going to be right here on CBS and News 12 Now. Coming up on the 7th of February, a Super Bowl like any other. We'll go into a little bit more detail on how this game is going to be different coming up later in the week. We'll be right back with more after this.